So Meryl's not doing so well, as you can probably tell. Clutching his stomach, coughing up bile. Yeah, he's got a really bad stomach ache.
You have my... The Tirith Guard must...
So anyways, I've been looking forward to this one. This is one of my favorites. And it's pretty significant. Really cool. We are going to be going after the artifact weapon for the Fire Mage. Felo'Melorn. Flame Strike in its native tongue, Felo'Melorn was born into battle by members of the Sunstrider family as they proved their valor in the War of the Ancients, during the Troll Wars, and against the Death Knight, Arthas Menethil. Ultimately, the sword was lost in the frigid wastes of Northrend. Ah, Felo'Melorn, I am familiar with this weapon. For ages the Council of Tirisfal attempted to recover the blade. Its control over the primal forces of fire would be devastating in the wrong hands. As luck would have it, an associate of mine, Archmage Modera, has recently uncovered some information on this artifact. This crystal contains a message from her. I suggest you start with your search there. The portal over there will bring you back to the city.
Beware the Nathrazim.
I'm going to walk over here just to avoid hearing his constant dealing with his stomach. So a couple of things. As you can probably see, I went ahead and changed her Mog to kind of fit the what we're doing here. This is my usual Mog that I use my other main Fire Mage that I've got, because I think it's an awesome transmog set for a Fire Mage, and I usually have him using the Fire Lord title, and I was trying to decide on what fire-themed weapon, and I decided to go with this staff here. There are a couple of other good ones here as well, so anyways, that's what I thought about doing here. Also, to reiterate something about this weapon was actually wielded by Kael'thas when he, at one point, fought Arthas, Death Knight Arthas, I should specify, when he was wielding Frostmourne. So at one point, the sword we are going after actually once dueled with Frostmourne by Kael'thas. Just saying.
Greetings. I trust this projection is clear. This is Modera, Archmage of the Council of Six. I've come across a lead on a weapon that could significantly aid your fight against the Legion. My source is, unable to join us within the city. I ask that you meet with me at the crater of Dalaran's foundation in Hillsbrad. Due to the sensitive nature of this matter, I must ask for your discretion. If you attempt to speak to me at any other location, I will disavow all knowledge of this message. I await your arrival.
Okay. So... before we continue continue on usual, I'm going to head over to Dalaran to speak on a couple of things before we actually continue with the quest as normal. This is how the mount looks on a Fire Mage. Not bad. I usually use Ashes of Alar. So, you'll notice probably that Modera said the Council of Six. They actually have 5 members right now. The reason for that is because Jaina was actually the 6th member of this council. But, leading up to Legion, Khadgar made the motion that they needed to bring the Horde mages back into the Kirin Tor and Dalaran to fight the Legion. Jaina was vehemently opposed to this, because at this point she is still very much anti-Horde since the events of Pandaria. They ended up having a vote, and Jaina gave them an ultimatum before the vote. She said, if you vote to bring the Horde back here, I will leave the Kirin Tor. I'm done. I will not be part of this anymore. They had the majority vote of bringing the Horde in, because they're not stupid. They realize they need everybody to help fight the Legion. And so Jaina left and disavowed all connections with Dalaran and the Kirin Tor, when she used to call this her city. So basically at that point, the council and Khadgar basically became the leader here. At least I see him as the leader, since he effectively is, the guardian, even though not in title or power, but he basically is. Even Medivh says that to him. But in some ways this works out, and the reason being is that because now instead of 6, where they could actually be a deadlock and a tie, they actually have 5 of them. This is an very old tactic when it comes to diplomacy or, democracy or voting on certain things, where you have an odd number, so that way there's no ties or deadlocks. There's always going to be a winner. It can always be 3-2 or whatever. And I like that. I like that it basically changed this up. So there's one more thing I also want to mention before we continue, and that is this guy right here. Archmage Karlane. This guy actually deals with an aspect that is really not touched upon. And that's kind of dealing with sort of the, I guess, for lack of a better term, underbelly of those who are not really welcomed in upper society. For example, Warlocks, there's a reason the Warlocks are having to meet underground in the underbelly, because they're not really welcome amongst, good chunks of society, because they're Warlocks. Karlane is the one who actually helps deal with that, and actually helps, do dealings with the Warlocks to try and help them get in a position where they can be able to do things, set up themselves up without being attacked or such by, citizens and such. So it's something they don't really touch upon, but it would be interesting if they actually showed more of that, to show this is what people like the Warlocks have to deal with, and this is what Karlane does to actually help them with that. So anyways, let us now... The portal to Dalaran Crater should be there, based on what I've seen in other quests. And if this is so, I can be able to use Slow Fall or even Ice Block to save myself from the fall. And of course, later on, once I finish leveling this character, I'll take her through Scarlet Monastery in order to get the tome. What? Oh my gosh. Take the portal here. It's not here. So they put the other portals in, but they didn't put the one that takes you to Dalaran Crater? Are you serious? Fine, there are other ways to do this. After all, I am Horde, so I can be able to teleport to Undercity, which is right next to the Dalaran Crater. So, no big deal. This will work out just fine. Okay. So now, the only tricky part is getting out of here. Alright, I guess I'll go this way. Sorry if you guys can hear my keyboard. Sorry if it's annoying. couldn't even see that. Where is that? It's so high up here, I couldn't even see that it was here. Oh well. This is a quick way to get out of here. The other way is to go over here and use the elevator to go into the throne room of Lordaeron. But that takes a little while, so. And forgive my slow flying speed. Won't be until level 40 that I can get the much faster flying speed. Anyways, now we're out and about, outside. And it's just right over here. This is also, you know, there's a couple of really cool things about this quest. It has a follow-up to, as I mentioned, what happened with Jaina. It has a follow-up to the Purge of Dalaran that Jaina orchestrated back in Pandaria, where Aethys Sunreaver actually was able to barely escape with his own life before Jaina got to him and killed him. And, well, like as I mentioned, up until this point, the Sunreavers and the Horde mages were not really allowed back in Dalaran because Jaina wouldn't hear of it. The other cool thing about this quest, well, you'll see. I'll point it out when we get there. There's a reason I saved this one as one of the last ones we do. Ah, there she is. Hey, Modera.
I'm glad you received my message.
Of course.
You need something?
I'm glad you came. I found information on just the thing that we need to turn this war in our favor. Felo'Melorn, the rune blade of the kings of Quel'Thalas. It was said to harness the very essence of flame, and after being reforged by Kael'thas, could even stand against the legendary Frostmourne. We thought that the blade was lost with Kael'thas' death, but an associate of mine has a lead on where it may be located. We need every advantage that we can get, and with Felo'Melorn in your hand, the Legion would tremble. Ah, our company is here.
Safe travels.
Thank you both for meeting me in such an inhospitable location.
Hello, Aethys Sunreaver.
If I were able to meet you in Dalaran, I would.
The wounds inflicted by the Divine Bell incident run deep, Aethys. Others in the Council are not as forgiving as I.
Precisely why I'm here. If I can't return to my former position, then perhaps the Council would at least consider restoring my access to the city. As a show of good faith, I have information to offer.
I will bring your case before the others, but I cannot promise the outcome will be in your favor.
You have my thanks, friend. I once knew Leandra Sunstrider, a distant relative of King Anasterion. Though she bore the Sunstrider name, in truth, her branch of the family held no claim to the throne. After Kael'thas' betrayal, she became obsessed with finding Felo'Melorn to claim it for her own. I told her it was a fool's errand, that she'd never find the relic. Indeed, it has been many years since I last heard from her. But with the Legions coming, I decided to begin my own search for the location of the blade. I saw a vision of Leandra with the weapon in hand. Around her, the land was covered in ice, and an all too familiar fortress loomed behind her.
Icecrown, you believe you'll find her there?
Indeed I do. And nothing happens in that citadel unless its master wills it.
Indeed.
I would not be surprised to learn he had a hand in this.
That is so true.
Any news?
Our next journey will be to Icecrown. There, in the heart of the Scourge, we will find Felo'Melorn. It is time that we make our move. I can conjure a portal that will take you directly inside, but it will take some time before I can make another and join you. The Lich King will no doubt sense the magic of your arrival, so you will need to move fast to locate Felo'Melorn and secure it. If Leandra has the blade with her, then I fear she may not relinquish it easily. Be prepared for anything. I will, of course, talk about this later, like after we, just as we're about to get the weapon, okay? Because this certainly needs to be talked about.
Safe travel. The portal will take you directly inside Icecrown. Hurry, it won't last long. I'll follow after you as soon as I can. Good luck, hero.
Thanks. Wish me luck. Home sweet home. This is the other cool part. We are back in Icecrown Citadel.
I sense an intruder who has come in search of plunder. You underestimate the dangers of Icecrown, foolish mage. Your thoughts are transparent. I sense you have come seeking Felo'Melorn. You hope to use it against the Legion. Interesting. I wonder if you are as powerful as you believe, then perhaps you may prove more worthy of the sword than the last mage who came to claim it. But be warned, I will not be responsible for the fate which befalls you, any more than I was for what happened to the last Seeker who hoped to take my relic. Should you succeed, the blade is yours. But if you should fail, then you will become a mindless minion of the Scourge. Do not expect my protection.
Yikes. That is quite the declaration there. So yeah, I will of course talk about that after we, just as we're about to acquire the weapon. Because it kind of deserves to be talked about, because some people heard this and they went, what? Because here's the thing. The older Lich Kings, like the first one and the second one, the one we faced in Wrath, who was using Death Knight Arthas as a host, he would never have done that. That Lich King would have been like, alright, you are now mine. Like, he would have, enslaved us, or he would have these guys immediately kill us and then raise us up. But no, this one is like, interesting. And then makes us that offer. It's like, okay, I'll give you a chance. Fight your way through my citadel and try to earn this weapon. And if you succeed, it's yours. But if you fail, well, I'll tell you exactly what your fate will be. So, oh gosh, hold on. Hold on, I just realized I have the buttons a little different here on this mage than I do on my other one. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I just realized this is, there we go. That's a little bit more reflective of my little bindings there. Okay. So this is a cute little interesting puzzle that we get to deal with here. Probably, I shouldn't have, of course my shield is, not exactly helping me right now. So I gotta ride this little line here. There we go. Okay, let's see.
I too came to Icecrown in search of Felo'Melorn. The Lich King gave me the blade, and more. He gave me purpose. Only when the blinding pain of life left me did I see the truth. Only then was the majesty of the plan revealed. You do not realize that you're groping in the darkness. Felo'Melorn would be wasted in your hands. The blade is mine by the will of the Master and by rights of blood. Oppose me and you will be struck down.
Poor Leandra. But at the same time, I'm not surprised. How many people in Wrath did we see kind of end up being like that? Remember the people in this very area here, when we were heading towards the area where Sindragosa is, that ended up getting killed and brought back by a Valkyr that worked for the Lich King? It's in the ICC raid.
I must get closer.
Arise!
Foolish mortal, you should have fled when you had the chance.
Intruder's heart!
Apparently I couldn't hear her until I got closer.
Unacceptable! My minions will rip you apart!
Sure they will.
I will not be defeated! Come, my pet! Sate your hunger with the flesh of the living!
Get back here, Leandra. So there it is. She's got in her hand.
Enough of these games! This ends here.
Is she about to bring about a fire version of Merogar? And yes, I agree. It does end here. For you, anyway.
You long for my blade so badly, then you shall have it!
I require a target.
Cold.
All doubt has been banished. You are truly worthy of the blade. Claim your prize and leave, hero. A living.
She's trying to counter my spell. I won't be able to hold her much longer. Hurry!
Aethys! How dare you! Have you forgotten who I am?
I remember who you were, but the creature before me now is but a walking corpse.
Okay. I killed her too fast because apparently combustion is really strong at this point. All I did was use a couple of pyros from combustion and she went down like that. So that encounter obviously went a little different than it's supposed to. So it's supposed to, you will her down, she summons that fire version of Merogar, and then Aethys shows up to help and, says that, how dare you, have you forgotten who I am? And this is something he says, I remember who you were, but the creature before me now is a waking corpse. That kind of goes back to what I was talking about with Greymane having that prejudice against Alonz's Foul, because even though he knows it's Alonz's Foul, he's still an undead, and that's all he sees. It's that thing where Aethys, he doesn't see Leandra anymore, all he sees is an undead. Even though that is Leandra, she has been a little warped, Or then again, maybe that's how she always was, and he just didn't know her that well. But let me also reiterate what the Lich King just said.
All doubt has been banished. You are truly worthy of the blade. Claim your prize and leave, hero. The living have no place within my prison of ice.
So, some have speculated what the Lich King was actually doing here. I've actually heard a couple of different ones. My favorite one, though, is that the Lich King was kind of rolling with it because, as we learned through the Death Knight campaign, and this has basically been the same like ever since, like since the beginning, the Lich King has always hated the Burning Legion. And what he was basically doing here was he had found Felo'Melorn, and he was preparing to have somebody use it against the Burning Legion because it's a really powerful artifact weapon. So, you know, Leandra showed up, and she failed. He brought her back up, and he was like, okay. You know, so imagine he's kind of preparing Leandra to use this against the Burning Legion, like, right before we show up. So imagine he's like, okay, you are kind of pathetic, but I guess, you know, I don't really have that many other options. Sure, I'll let you have the weapon, use you... Hold on a second. Someone just teleported into my lair. Is that a mage? And because the Lich King can read our minds without ease, both the living and the dead, he reads our mind and go, oh, you want Felo'Melorn? Oh, and you are pretty strong. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you succeed, weapon's yours, and you can go ahead and use it against the Legion, since I know that's what you want to do. But if you fail, I'll just go back to doing what I was doing before. He was basically rolling with it, going, okay, I'll see which of these two is more worthy, and whoever wins is going to use it against the Burning Legion anyway, so it's a win-win for me either way. That's what I think he was doing here. So, but it was a nice little, like, if you weren't playing a Death Knight, this was a cool, like, whoa, you know, it's the third Lich King, you know. Felo'Melorn.
Let's go, before the Lich King decides we've overstayed our welcome. I must plead my case.
Aethys? You okay there, buddy? Okay, I'll see you there. Actually, hold on. It says create a portal. Okay, sure, I'll make a portal for Aethys. Gosh, there was the fact that, you know, at 50 I've got 3 charges of Fire Blast and Phoenix Flames. Which, by the way, that's what this sword used to be able to give a really cool ability and visual effect, which was you got the Phoenix Flames ability, but you had 3 orbs of fire circling your head the whole time you wielded it in Legion. It was kind of like what Kael'thas did with his Verdant Spheres, and it was just awesome. I loved it. So now we're going to see if they are willing to let Aethys Sunreaver back into Dalaran. Like I said, follow up to what happened back in Pandaria with the Purge Dalaran.
Archmages of the Council, may I present to you the bearer of Felo'Melorn.
I've got it. So his intel was correct. So I will vouch for him on that, Council. His intel was crucial for us to get this weapon back.
Light be with you.
Felo'Melorn. I can barely believe that such great power is locked within a blade as beautiful as this. Indeed it is. It's also fitting if you play a troll mage, you know, because of how many trolls were killed with this weapon by the High Elves back in the day. So if you play a troll mage, it's almost like, oh, the irony of a troll ending up with Felo'Melorn. With this weapon in your hands, the Legion will surely fail. Fall.
As you can see, our former colleague followed through on his promise of assistance. I trust you will take that into account as you consider his request to be allowed back in the city.
How do we know he won't betray the Kirin Tor once again?
If he wished to use the blade for his own ends, he would have simply given it to one of his Sunreavers.
I am
Aethys'
Malfurion.
actions appear to be genuine. I say we grant his request.
Very well. That's 2 in favor of allowing Aethys back into the city. Answer him. How do you vote?
Very well. I trust the wisdom of Carlane's council. I vote yes.
And what say the rest of you?
Yes, of course.
Then it is decided. Aethys Sunreaver, you are free to go. Do not misuse this opportunity given to you.
I like Aethys. He also becomes a follower for us. Actually, he becomes a bodyguard for us as a mage. So, what do you say we head back to the hall and I can show you some of the appearances? I've been hearing fire is getting nerfed in this expansion. What mattered to me was I looked at the talent build and I was like, you know what? The talent build isn't really that different. You know, there's always just going to be the thing that's like, oh, encounters flow, or do I go for Rune of Power? You know, I hate, the idea of like, considering how many times we have to be mobile and move around, just like standing in one place for, take advantage of Rune of Power is just kind of, frustrating. But, for the most part, it's like, oh, really the build I usually go with for fire really isn't going to change. So I'll probably still have fun playing fire, based on what I've been doing with my other max level mage. Whether or not it ends up being the top spec anymore or not, we'll have to wait and see. So anyways, this of course is the baseline appearance. I like, the offhand is kind of interesting with the little orb there. This is a more purple color for the blade. Of course, different color tints. Gold and blue one is actually pretty cool looking. This is the upgrade appearance, the pride of the Sunstriders. This is the balance of power appearance, the Phoenix's rebirth. This is the PvP appearance. Takes on a more lava look, and I love this appearance. I absolutely love this. Looks so cool. I use it on my main mage right now. As for the secret appearance, in order to acquire the secret appearance, which also, by the way, look at the offhand, changes like into a ball of like, molten lava. It's really cool looking. I love this secret appearance, or this extra appearance for getting my honor level up to 10 PvP. The secret appearance actually is a random drop in Suramar. From what I understand on the page, it has a random chance to drop from various different mobs in Suramar City. It has this kind of star astral look to it. It's fine. I just haven't taken the time to take my mage through Suramar City. I haven't done the Suramar campaign for Suramar. Why am I... That's kind of funny. Apparently, this Nightborn mage doesn't really have to do some of the other quests in Suramar because she's a Nightborn. I did not even notice that before. That's kind of cool to know. I'll have to check out how that works at some point. So anyways, that is the quest line for the Fire Mage Artifact quest. Pretty cool weapon, I really like. Plus you got a chance to go into Icecrown and see some of the Lich King, and it's a follow-up to what happened in the Purge of Dalaran with Aethys Sunreaver, so yeah, you can see why this was one of the last ones I saved up, I was waiting to do. Pretty cool. So, that is basically it. when it comes to all the Legion artifact quests, with a couple of exceptions. Like I mentioned, I wasn't going to show Discipline Priest because I even did it the other night. Other than changing, the elements you deal with there from Arcane to Fire, it's essentially the exact same quest that Arcane Mage did. So, unless I decide to redo the artifact weapons for Death Knight, Paladin, Druid, that's basically going to be it for the artifact weapons. Though I may show, I'm considering showing some more of the class overhaul campaigns for a class or two. So, anyways, I will see you guys next time.